Good afternoon. It's great to see all of you here. Thank you for being here. First of all, we know what has to happen. In the event that a fire alarm sounds, please remain seated in the auditorium until directed by a Springmore staff member. And they will tell you how to exit. Please exit in an orderly fashion. Do not use the elevator. And once outside, find the red pole. And I often wondered why everybody goes to the red pole. It's because they can check on you and make sure everybody's accounted for. So that's a good thing. I would like to call this meeting to order of the Springmore Residents Association and welcome you to the 7th Residents Association meeting for 2026. As I said, it's great to see all of you, and we do know that there's some watching on 1341 at home. And we know that a recording will also be on the resident portal within 48 hours, and the Residents Association meeting for 2025, all of those are on the portal if anybody wants to go back and look. And I would like to really thank Jim Bundy for all of his guidance, but for doing the camera work. Are there any new members here that have not ever been to a resident meeting? Please raise your hand if you're here and have never been to a meeting. Some of you are at home and there's nobody here, but please come so we can recognize you. And of course, welcome to all of you, and all of the residents are part of the Resident Association. I'd like to call on now Brad Dilday, the Executive Director, for just some important comments. Brad?
Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here. I'll be brief. I just wanted to update you on 2 items. Number 1, the gas going to South Village to restore the kitchen so you can have some fried chicken. As of my check, like 10 minutes before I walked in here, we're still on schedule to have that done by the 20th. We're relying on Enbridge to hold up their end of the bargain, but they have given us no reason that they won't have it done by then. I would have liked to seen them out there working by now to make me feel a little bit better about that date, but I will keep you posted as I learn more, but we have no reason to doubt them at this point. The other thing is I sent out a memo probably 2 weeks ago now, but informing you of Michael Hess, who will be coming as the nursing home administrator beginning his first day will be September 14th. We'll probably plan maybe Wednesday or Thursday that week to have something in the auditorium where we can kind of do a meet and greet, introduce him to people, let you come and ask him questions, get to know him. But excited to have him here. He has been at UNC Rex Healthcare he's been an administrator there for 11 years at the same facility in Apex. So he has some great experience, and you stay at a place like that for 11 years, you're doing something pretty well. So I'm happy to have him here and looking forward to getting him to join the team and become part of Springmore family. So appreciate you all, and if you need anything, you know how to find me, all right? Thank you.
Thank you, Brad. Now I would like to call on Joanne Middleton, who is chair of the Management Advisory Committee, to give info about the role of the MAC, which is Management Advisory Committee. And Joanne?
Well, I'm here to represent the Management Advisory Committee and to offer our invitation to all of you to submit questions about the budget to us, and I'll give you the dates, and you will get something in writing from me very soon after the budget has been released. It has not been released yet, so things could change dates, and I'm not going to put it out until we have the budget in hand. All of us have the budget in hand. as you probably recall, if you've been here more than a year, every year there's 2 times we, as residents, can submit questions for Springmore Management and the Springmore Board to answer for us. And they take this opportunity seriously, and as do we. So we just want to ask you to be prepared to look at your budget when it comes. If you have any question, please feel free to submit it to the Management Advisory Committee. You will have my Springmore internal mail address, my email address, my room number. So you send them to me, and then the committee, the Management Advisory Committee, will review them to make sure we understand your question. Now, you do not have to put your name on your questions, but it helps a lot if we don't understand it, because then we just have to guess if we don't understand your question. So the other most important thing, I don't know how I can overemphasize it, is the deadline. You don't have your piece of paper yet, but I anticipate that your questions have to be to us, to the Management Advisory Committee in one of those addresses, my addresses, no later than August 28th. Why? Because even though the meeting will be on September 14th, we need to go through them, and then we need to make our report to Springmore Management and Board. And so that takes a bit. And please know, though, if you don't send them in by August 28th, we won't be answering them. And one other thing, only financial questions about the budget. This isn't the time to tell us about parking. You'll have that chance again next. I mean, we always know there's going to be a question about parking, but not this time there won't. No, just general interest procedural questions, but management wants to hear about your questions about the budget, finances. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joanne. And now it's time for our program today. Our Vice President, Dave Gospodarik, is out of town, so I would like to introduce Zaria Bratz, who is our presenter today. And I have found out some good news about her. She's a wolf packer. She is also a Durham native. She has been a frontline fundraiser at the Food Bank of Central and Eastern North Carolina since last year, October of 2025. She graduated from North Carolina State, I will put that in 2021 with a communications degree. I think you will enjoy her passion for this job that she is doing, and I'm going to now introduce Zaria Bratz.
All righty, good afternoon, everybody. Can everyone hear me okay? Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Can everyone hear me okay now? Perfect, okay.
Put that down just a little bit, and then maybe that, yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. Thank you so much, Barbara, for that awesome introduction. I am really happy to be here today to talk to you all about the Food Bank of Central and Eastern North Carolina, to give you a little bit of our history for the past 45, now going on 46 years, and of course to kind of detail the work that we do. And at the end, I'll talk to a few ways that you all can get involved if you're not already involved with the food bank. So just to start us off, this is a picture of the front of the food bank. Can you put a hand up if you've been to the food bank before or you're familiar with our work? Oh, that's amazing. Okay, that's a handful of you all. Well, thank you so much for engaging with us. But this is the front of our food bank, and it has our mission up there: nourish people, build solutions, and it says empower communities, but we recently updated to connect communities. So you'll see that change in our messaging and our updates pretty soon. Okay, just to give you an overview of our service area. So we are the Food Bank of Central and Eastern North Carolina because we serve Central and Eastern North Carolina. We have about 6 branches, including our Raleigh branch, which is our headquarters. Our Raleigh branch has about 108,000 square feet worth of space, and that's cooler, freezer space. That's a warehouse that houses all of our food, and then that's some administrative offices and some workspace as well. Outside of our Raleigh branch, we have 5 additional branches which help us serve neighbors in those additional 34 counties in the area. So we have a branch in Durham, which recently reopened. We have a branch in Sandhills, a branch in Greenville, a branch in New Bern, and a beautiful branch in Wilmington that's not too far from the beach. And my favorite thing about that Wilmington branch is there is actually an industrial kitchen, and we have a chef there, Chef Kenneth. He does a great job of providing warm cooked meals for the community, for some of our events. And he also likes to keep around 2,000 to 3,000 meals in reserves. So whenever there's a natural disaster, hurricane, flooding, anything like that, we have those ready to reheat and immediately get into the community. So a lot of awesome stuff happening in all 6 of the branches. But today I'm going to talk about just a little bit of the work that we do. And if you were concerned about the other counties in the area, they're actually serviced by other food banks. So there's the Manna Food Bank, there's the Food Bank of Albemarle, there's Second Harvest. So anywhere that we're not located, there are other food banks with their boots on the ground ready to help individuals in those areas. So a little bit about our history. I won't go through every single touch point, but I will just touch on a few things. So in 1980, we actually had our first opening with our founder, Barbara K. Oates. She actually started this entire operation out of her garage. And within the first 2 years of being open, so by 1982, we had distributed around 1 million pounds of food. So just in 2 short years, 1 million pounds. So that was the power of Barbara. And I think around 36 partners at that point. In 1990, so just a decade after being in service, we distributed 20 million pounds of food. And we had our first Hunger Relief Day at the fair in 1993. So has anybody in the room attended the NC State Fair before? Yes. Okay, hands. Yes, perfect. So you may know we have a Hunger Relief Day where we partner with the fair. And on that one day, individuals in the community are able to come to the fair, and instead of paying admission, they're able to bring 6 canned goods. And those 6 canned goods actually come to the food bank, and we're able to use that to distribute to the community. So it's a great way for individuals to kind of save some money while also giving back and having a great day at the fair. I was there helping out last year. It was actually one of my first volunteer projects with the food bank, and we filled up about 12 trailers worth of food. So it's not quite that 200 pounds that we had in that first year, but I think it's a little over 150,000 pounds of food. So still a great feat from the community. In 2005, unfortunately, we did see Hurricane Katrina hit in New Orleans. And although we're not based there, we did partner with a few other food banks in North Carolina, as well with some food banks in the area, just to provide them with food to give out to those individuals who had been affected by the hurricane, by flooding. And we were also able to pitch in to rent out warehouse space to house that food and to house resources for those individuals who were affected. Skipping to 2008, we had our first Stop Summer Hunger year. So Stop Summer Hunger actually just wrapped up this year, but we take that time in June and July of every year just to kind of highlight the summer meal gap. And the summer meal gap, for those who may not be familiar, it's that time where children are out of school. And as we know, a lot of students rely on those they rely on those lunches and those breakfasts that they get while they're in school. So unfortunately, while they're out of school, they're not getting that food. So they're missing out on those really important meals. So we at the food bank, we actually take that time to go out into the community. We do summer meal boxes. We have summer meal sites. We partner with restaurants and vendors all around the state, and they help us to get those meals to those students and families who need them. And we also have a special match opportunity in June and July where every dollar that's donated is actually matched by a dedicated partner of the food bank. So instead of providing 30 meals for every $10, it's actually 60 meals for every $10. And although Stop Summer Hunger is officially wrapped for the year, we do have some other match opportunities coming up, and I'm happy to talk about that once we get to the end of the presentation. And then in 2016, we had our final move, and apologies, it says 180,000 square feet, but it is 108,000 square feet. So that's the location that we're in on Capitol Boulevard. And previously, I believe that used to be home to some of Wake Tech's campuses, the flea market, and there was also a tire shop on that huge piece of land. So we're very happy to be there now, taking up that space. And then to jump to 2020, that's when we celebrated 40 years of fighting hunger, 40 years of being in operation, and now we're sitting at 46 years going strong. And then in 2024, when Hurricane Helene hit, we did have some more hurricane relief efforts similar to Katrina. So just getting those meals heated and out into the community and making sure that we partnered with other food banks in the area to make sure that those neighbors who were in need, who were affected by the disaster, had the resources that they needed to kind of just keep going. Okay, and just to kind of put into perspective where we sit now with food insecurity statistics. So in North Carolina alone, about 607,000 neighbors are fighting food insecurity. And unfortunately, about 1 in 5 of those individuals are children, and about 196,000 seniors we're seeing are living below the poverty line. So yes, some really humbling statistics, but it is important to note. And now I'd love to talk about how the food bank works, what we do to get food to the community, how we partner with our partner agencies, and all of that good stuff. So the first part of our mission that I mentioned earlier is to nourish people. So we do that in a plethora of ways. We source food from local farmers. We have a lot of farmer partners, I believe around 20. We actually have a farmer in the area, Farmer Bill. He has about 300 acres, and he uses all of that land to grow just for the food bank. So whatever food comes from those 300 acres, it comes directly to us. Now, of course, Farmer Bill, he's not being shorted in this transaction. We do help pay for the cost of being able to tend to the land and labor for actually picking the produce that comes off the land, but it's at a low cost. So we're very grateful for Farmer Bill and partners like him. We also have retail donations, so individuals like Walmart, Trader Joe's, Publix, Target, people like that, they help us with retail donations. We have manufacturer donations, and of course we have donations that we receive from the community. And then once we receive those donations, we actually use our staff and volunteers to kind of sort through those foods, sort through those donations, and sometimes repackage those supplies. So when we get a huge bulk donation of sweet potatoes, we have volunteers come in, they'll pick through those huge boxes of sweet potatoes. Anything that's moldy, mushy, can't be put into the community. It actually goes to compost. So we only have about 3% waste total. So we try not to waste a lot of food that come through our doors. So they help us out with repackaging those supplies, helping us by packing senior boxes, summer meal boxes, administrative tasks. There's a lot that volunteers can do to help out. And then finally, it gets to our pantries and shelters. So our 700 plus network of partner agencies, including food pantries, churches, civic communities, they actually come to the food bank and they'll pick up those boxes, or sometimes we deliver to those food pantries and those other meal sites. So they actually pick up the food and they're able to distribute it into the community directly to those neighbors that they have relationships with. And then, yes, that was step 4. So families access the food through those food pantries. Okay, and building solutions. So there are a few ways that we actually help the community outside of food. So we help with grocery support. So getting individuals signed up for programs like SNAP, senior boxes, emergency food assistance. We assist with that. Disaster relief, as I mentioned earlier, helping out with disasters like Katrina, Helene, things of that nature. So we have ready-to-go meals that actually come out of our Wilmington site, and we have about 2,000 to 3,000 that are ready at any moment to be reheated and put into the community. And then children and senior programs. So we have some school-based pantries. So at a lot of local schools, like I know NC State has a food pantry, UNC has a food pantry. So a lot of colleges in the area, even some high schools and middle schools in the area, they have food pantries. We have our senior boxes, so CSFP boxes that go out on a monthly basis. And those are for seniors who are 60 plus and who live 130% below the poverty line. So we're actually able to package those boxes once a month. And that is supposed to supply about half the food that individuals will need for that entire month. And that includes all of your nutrition staples. So a wheat, dairy, there's cheese, there's milk in there. Produce that's supplemented by the food bank, a grain, a rice, cereal. So all of those kind of staples that you need go into those boxes. Okay, and then finally, the way that we connect communities, we are big on advocacy. So anyone who maybe you're not as interested in volunteering your time, maybe you're not in a position where you want to give financially, you can always advocate. And that looks like reaching out to legislators, saying, hey, what's going on with the Farm Bill? Like, this is why it's important to fund that 100%. So these food banks and so the neighbors have access to those resources that we need. So it's advocating to legislators. It's simply talking to your friends, your networks about the food bank, saying, oh, this is what's going on and this is how you can help. So even if it's just word of mouth, spreading the word, we're very appreciative of individuals who help us advocate. Alrighty, and then just a few pictures so you can see kind of what happens in the warehouse. Some individuals sorting through produce. In the top left corner, you'll see individuals actually putting together meals to go out into the community. And then at the bottom left, that looks like what used to be our garden space, but that is actually now being taken over by Interfaith Food Shuttle. So we partner with them to kind of take care of that beautiful garden space that's in the front of our office. Okay, and finally, a few ways that you can get involved, how you can help. So last year alone, and you actually see these statistics in the annual report that's sitting on some of your chairs and in the summer newsletter, but 91 million meals were shared with families in our service area. And about 63% of the food that we distributed to the community was either fresh or frozen produce, protein, or dairy items. So that's well over half of the food that we put out into the community. We want to make sure that it is nutritious. We want to make sure that it's something that is nourishing to the body and not just processed, packaged food. And then finally, about 160,000 volunteer hours were clocked last year. So we're very, very grateful for our volunteers who come in, whether it be on a weekly basis, a monthly basis, or if it's just once a year, they come in with their families. We're very, very grateful. And just to put that into perspective, about 160,000 volunteer hours, that equates to a little under 80 full-time employees. So we're very, very grateful for our volunteers and the time that they commit to our mission. Okay, and just a little bit about SNAP. So I mentioned at the beginning about 608,000 individuals are currently being affected by food insecurity. So that's about 1 in 9 individuals in the country, I believe. But I know that for every 1 meal we provide at the food bank, that's 9 meals that SNAP can provide to individuals. And I won't get too deep into the weeds, but we are currently in a position where SNAP is being threatened, unfortunately, in the state. So we have a lot of individuals who the working requirement age has gone up. So individuals who may have to work a little bit longer to receive those benefits. Individuals who may no longer qualify because they don't meet those working requirements. Or it's just harder to sign up for SNAP. So we're really trying to use our voices. We're really trying to advocate and let people know that SNAP is in danger. And that's about, I want to say, close to 2 million people just in North Carolina alone who rely on that program. So, yes, we really are asking people to advocate. We're really asking for people to spread the word about kind of what's happening, the threat that's being put up amongst SNAP. So we're asking people to kind of just keep that in mind. And once we get towards the end of the year, just kind of keep an eye on what's going on in the government with legislation and just keep your eyes out. So a few ways that you can get involved. I think I mentioned this earlier, but of course you can donate. our purchasing power at the food bank goes much larger than that of the average consumer. So for every $10 that someone donates, that's 30 meals that go into the community. And when we have our special match opportunities, so that's March, we have a Women's Month match opportunity. Over the summer, we have our Stop Summer Hunger match opportunity. And then at the end of the year, we have our, it's kind of like a Thanksgiving holiday meals match opportunity. So all those opportunities for the entire month of November and December, every gift that's received will be doubled by a partner. So if you donate $20, it'll look more like $40. So it's a perfect time to give, a perfect time to kind of get into the holiday spirit and kind of remember those who may not have that fortune that we may have. And then, of course, volunteering. We have volunteer shifts available from Monday to Saturday, 9 to 4 p.m. Now, you do have to be at least 16 to volunteer on your own. I don't know if you all qualify. I'd love to check IDs, but you do have to be 16 plus to volunteer on your own, and you can be 12 plus with an adult. We do have special kids shifts that happen on the first and second Saturday of every month. So individuals who are 5 plus, they're able to come with a guardian or a parent. And we have special activities for kids if they want to help squirt food, if they want to help pack boxes, or if they get bored and they want to color, we have a section for that too. And yes, so that's Monday through Saturday, 9 to 4. It's usually 3 sessions a day. So there's a morning session, that's 10 to 1, an afternoon session, that's 1 to 4. And then on Wednesdays, we do have an evening session that's from 6 to 8 for individuals who may not be able to make it in due to work or just things going on during the day. And then finally, I feel like I've said the word advocate so much today, but advocate, make your voices heard. So whether that's getting on social media and sharing out about what's going on with SNAP right now, whether that's sitting down with your friends at lunch and kind of talking to them about what it means to be food insecure and how that's affecting the individuals in our area. Or even if it's, talking to legislators, sending an email. We have a template on our website. If you don't know what to say, you can simply copy and paste that and send that along. We make it really, really easy to advocate. So it's a lot of ways that you can get involved with the food bank. Alrighty, and then to close us out, just a few more pictures of individuals volunteering around the area. And that is it. Thank you so much for your time, and I'm happy to take questions if anyone has any.
I was wondering if the North Carolina Farmers Market provides any support at all. It's a pretty big operation, and of course, there's a lot of individual businesses. But it seemed like at the end of the day, maybe they could do a cleanup and give you something, or I don't know.
So I know that food procurement, they work really hard to kind of work with different agencies and individuals in the area. But I know for sure it's a part of our senior programs. We actually have, I don't know the exact name, but I know that it's an opportunity for seniors to receive kind of like vouchers that they can take to farmers markets, and they're able to use that to get fresh produce for themselves. So we do have that program. I'm happy to talk with you more or send you information about it. But I don't know if that's a direct link to them, but I do know that we have the opportunity to provide vouchers so seniors can go and purchase their own produce. Good question. Thank you.
About those vouchers, I was at the farmer's market this past week, and there was a information booth where you could sign up for the vouchers. You have to have a certain income value. Your income your income does relate to how many vouchers are even if you do qualify.
Thank you.
Do we have any other questions? Okay, John?
I think that many of us may not fully understand what SNAP is and what the coming problem is and why advocacy is needed, especially now. Would you like to go into that?
Yes, perfect. Thank you so much, because I did not expand on what's going on with SNAP right now. So just to put it into simple terms so I don't put my foot in my mouth. So right now, it's a really unfortunate situation. So there's a probability that at the end of the year, probably in October or so, we're looking at a cost shift. So instead of the federal government kind of taking on that cost of SNAP and providing the necessary resources for those individuals, that's looking to be shifted over to the state. And we're not really in a position to take that on. And when I say we, I mean every single state in the country is not in a position to take that on. But especially here in North Carolina, where it's about 1.4 million individuals who are using SNAP right now, and that number is likely to change because that is a 2025 statistic. So yeah, just to put it in short, we're looking at a problem where the cost of SNAP will be shifted on to North Carolina, and we're currently not in a position to be able to take on that entire budget or the entire cost. Thank you so much. So we're not in a position to do that. So it's really just, we're in a position where come the end of the year, there may be a lot of individuals, a lot of food insecure individuals, or even individuals that you see just going about your day who may not have access to those SNAP benefits, which means they won't have access to the food they need, the resources they need. And when the state can't take on the entire cost, it's just, you see where I'm going. It can snowball into something terrible. So that's kind of what we're looking at for 2026, and we're asking individuals to kind of keep an eye on what's going on, definitely keep an eye on the news and advocate. Send letters to legislators. Let your friends know what's going on so they can advocate. We really just want to be in a position where the cost shift is delayed, even if it's just to next year or even 2028, so the state has a little bit more time to get funds in place to where they can possibly take on the entire cost of SNAP.
Any other questions? Who?
Ann Sides.
I don't see Ann. Oh, there she is. You changed shirts.
Now you can see me better.
Yeah.
Just a point of clarification. I just want to be sure I understand this. SNAP is the successor to food stamps. Is that correct?
That is correct,
Thank you.
yes. Ooh, great question. Assistance program, I believe. Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Sorry, I have a lot of acronyms swirling up here. Sometimes I forget, but great question.
Any other questions? Thank you, Zaria.
Awesome. Thank you. And if you all...
If you have further questions and you want to talk to Zaria, she'll be up here. And I beg your pardon? Oh, I'm sorry. We really appreciate, Zara, your coming today and sharing this with us. Before the door prizes, I have not forgotten those. And before we do those, I would like to remind you that we will be electing the residents who will be the officers of the 2027 Executive Committee. The proposed slate of officers from the 2027 Nominating Committee will be posted on the bulletin boards in North and South Villages, the portal, and on 1341. So please be on the lookout for the proposed slate of officers and look at them, and we will do that voting. They will be posted toward the end of this week. So you will be, and the nominating committee will be introduced then as well. They have really worked hard, and we need to remember that the residents, all of us, are part of this committee, and we all need to be helping and enjoying it. It does a good job, and these people that were on the nominating committee had a pretty tough time finding some officers, and some directors, and there are a lot of us here, so we really need to work at that. So next week, you will be aware of who is being nominated for leadership of your residents association. And now we will have the door prizes. And I am going to let Zaria draw for us out of the blue. Out of the blue. 1479613. Oh, look at that. Karen. Out of the red. Zero 26051. Oh, look at that, Joel. There we go. Thank you, guys, all of you, for attending today, and we look forward to seeing you at the RAM business meeting on Monday, September the 14th at 3 o'clock, when the budget and the nominations for 2027 will be presented. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.